So you're out shopping and you come across two toys that you had in your childhood. Two toys that kind of take you by surprise, and then before you know it, you're going home with them. So I come across a Batman, okay, while I'm out at Walmart and I'm shopping around and I'm getting stuff and everything. And this Batman is very much my favorite Batman, okay? He's very much the 1970s era Batman into the early 80s. He's really cool. I liked his bat emblem and whatnot. I do like the yellow bat here, but I also very much like the one that just has the bat motif, okay? Now, my favorite one probably would be the one with the oval, because that was around the time that I was really watching it, but this is a really close right here. This is pretty much, this is kind of like the version that we got with Hush, but it wasn't him that really took me by surprise. It wasn't him that shocked me. I thought he was cool. And then I came across him. And there it was. That is when we buy because our childhood demands it. When I was growing up, I had, not this exact one, of course, this is very much a reproduction and we know that, but I had this Superman. And I remember this Superman, I broke it. I was little, and he was my favorite Superman. He was like my literal favorite toy at the time, and he was Superman, so of course, he could fly. And so I was throwing him up in the air as high as I could, over and over again, and he'd fly up, and then he'd come down, and his cape would flap around and whatnot, and he'd hit the ground, and I'd go and I'd get him, I'd throw him again. And then I threw him one time, and he went up in the air, and he came back down, and he hit the concrete, and just into pieces. And I remember I was young, I was little, and it killed me, and I cried, and I was like, oh my God, my Superman. Like, I remember that absolutely broke my heart. And so it was kind of crazy when I was walking by this, I seen it, and I was like, what is that? And it just kind of blows me away. It's one of those quick little toy buys that you find that, look guys, the quality of toys has changed dramatically over the years. And it really has, okay? Because I see people all the time that are like, oh man, back when I was growing up, toys were so much better. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. They simply were not. And just to put it out there, I'll clip in some actual rotations and whatnot of this Superman with a more modern day Superman and this Batman with a more modern day Batman. Because they're not. Toys have come a long way in the time that we've been collecting, in the time that we've been interested, in the time that we've been having toys. When I was a kid, toys were very different. My G.I. Joes were very different. My Batman was very different. My Superman was very different. And yet, there's something about seeing the old toys, and very much it's a nostalgia thing, okay? Because this Superman has the old cape that I liked, and this Batman has the old cape that I liked. I remember losing these capes. I remember the excitement that there was about getting a character and having the cape and clicking it off of him and putting it on to another thing. And then like the first time that you ever really did, like that was the first level of kit bashing when I was growing up, was you would take the Batman cape, the little blue one or the black one, you'd pluck it off the back of his neck and you'd go plug it onto some other guy, some G.I. Joe or something, and then because the G.I. Joe was smaller, that cape was like really big on him and he could wrap around it and then he was like cool. And so that's like the first instance of things like kit bashing, taking stuff from one thing and putting it onto another. And just, there's a nostalgia that comes from the fact that these old toys are showing back up. The fact that you can buy the old Ninja Turtles again. The fact that you can buy an old Superman like this. The fact that you can buy an old Batman. And they're not old. They're still made at a higher quality than the ones that we had back then. And they really are. They just are. The engineering is better than it was in the tooling than it was back then. That's one of the reasons I absolutely love the Origin line. It's the reason I'm absolutely in love with the fact that they took these old toys and they brought them up to the modern day. And they're more posable, and they feel a little more sturdy, and they're cooler, and their parts are interchangeable, and you can kit bash easier, and you can make your own things and customize, and just I love this craze of the old toys showing up in toy stores. And I love the idea that I could walk by them and for not that much money, because I did get a little bit taken here. There was a sticker on the toy that specifically said $7. When I got it up to the counter, I rang it. It rang for $10. Basically, it was like $9.96. So that's not right. That's certainly not fair. Don't mislabel the prices on your stuff. Don't claim that something is on clearance on the ticket and then not put it in the system. I could have made a tiff about it, but I was like, $10. I'm going to buy them regardless. But you get the idea. I'm just simply saying that these things are affordable. They're affordable to the point where even though I knew that the sticker and the price that it rang up for was not the same, I didn't complain. Maybe I should have. Maybe that says something in general, that they kind of got something over on me with that one. But regardless, at $10, at less than $10, these things are very affordable. It's affordable to get the old Ninja Turtles that you had growing up. It's affordable to get an old Superman that you had growing up, just to be able to put him on the shelf and say, I've got him again. It's affordable to get old Star Wars figures that you had growing up. It's all very affordable. And boy, is that a tough phrase anymore, affordable, with the way things have been going lately? Because, wow, affordable almost seems like it isn't even a thing. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to tell a little story. I wanted to say that I added 2 new figures to the shelf. I wanted to say that it's cool to see these things kind of back on the shelf. And it's also cool that on the back here, it says that there is a Batwing and there's that weird little Superman thing. That's cool, because it'd be cool to be able to put that back on the shelf as well. Everything about these things being back in stores is neat, and being able to put them next to the figures that I have nowadays as opposed to the figures that I grew up with, and kind of really see the difference. And like I said about collecting, guys, collecting, definitely in terms of what I do, it's about you. It's always about you, and whether this thing means something to you. And these items, this Superman in particular, is something that I remember and have remembered for years and stuck with me throughout my childhood and a good portion of my adult life. I love Superman. That is something that defines me, and this figure in general is something that I hold in my mind all those years ago as something that has never quite left me. And so I'm really happy to be able to put these things back on the shelf. And that's all this video was. Just a quick check-in, a collection update, telling you that a couple more things are going up on the shelf. And yes, we still have stuff that we're doing here. I'm going to be doing an episode where I come in and we take everything off the gaming shelf, because the gaming shelf is going to go down 1 peg. Everything over here is going to go down 1 peg, because I want to do something with the top rack that now I believe I have the ability to do, and I want the space to be able to do it. So every shelf has to move down 1 peg, and in order to do that, I also felt it was an excuse to kind of go over the collection and clean. So that's probably going to be a set of videos that come out here. And also we're going to have to talk about, there's a new Skeletor that's going to be hitting the shelf. I'm excited about that. And we've also, of course, got to at some point go over the fact that this thing is still sitting on the shelf and we never talked about it. Plenty of stuff, plenty of items that have come into the collection, left the collection, or leaving the collection, and so on and so forth. Keep collecting, guys. Keep having fun. And you know what? Let's try, for what it's worth, to make as many positive memories this year as we can, because we've had enough grief. Right? Yeah. Later on.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.